Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having the chance to realize a garden here in Borromeo Park. And my first thought was that we are beginning now with detailed, very, very detailed garden design. And my approach is most to think big and from the big to the small. And so maybe this is vice versa, my thinking, but maybe you will find the big ideas beyond my possibility of the garden. Okay, here this is how I work in the garden in my University of Applied Sciences in Rapperswil next to the Lake Zurich in Switzerland. And I'm a German, and I have had the chance to have plantings in German garden shows. About 20 garden shows I have had already there. But I'm a planting designer. I'm a landscape with the special handicap planting design. And this is what maybe explains how I work. Here in Korea, it wouldn't be possible for me to work without a very, very strong and good team. Jong Gi-go, she is living in Berlin, Yang Yi and Seohun-oh, which are the partners here from Seoul. Here is the Borromeo Park, and you see how the site was before we started. And you see this running field, and you see the sports field in the middle, and the question was how to deal with it. What I have forgotten, because I've got my glasses, so here you see aviators. The rest of aviators, you see, they are planes. And this was the area which pilots have been trained, or aviators have been trained to fly around the world. And so I have had the idea to bring it together, and I show how we did it. Here, this is one expression. It is drawn by hand, and it shows the idea we have had. And what was really different to German garden shows, we have in Germany, we have got the possibility sometimes over 10 years before we know when a garden show comes. And so we have the possibility to go really deep inside of the theme, to work with it, and to get the themes very, very dense, and the right plants on the right places have to be planned very carefully. But sometimes there's no time, and in this case I thought this is no time, because the telephone was in December last year, and they said, okay, they will open in May. And I said, okay, that's something for the sport shoes. And this is the garden this summer, and this is just a short glimpse in before. But what was the way? The idea, some of the results. The idea is we have the little hawk, what is the name in Korean for the park, is an aviator like the pilots and the planes as well. And so he's not, and we are not alone in the air. There are birds and butterflies and bees, even wild bees live here. And the seeds of the flowers and the seeds of the trees have the possibility to go through the air. And so this is all about flying. And so I thought we make a theme out of it. And this was one of the first sketches, because I thought, okay, there's next to it there is a huge area, and a huge open area is often used for a tent city, and this is what we got already. You see there's a little tent city with all the shops which are necessary, and there's even sitting a monster in the middle of the garden on the grass. And so I thought we have to have a hedge to bring it together. And the trees have been all the existing trees. There's no tree planted, and there's no tree removed. So the design is the design on the site. And this was how it looked like. Here we have some bird homes, which are the homes for birds, like it says. Then we've got Zelkova serrata, one of the most planted trees in Seoul ever. And then we've got Chionanthus retusus, which is has got a very nice smell when it flowers in spring. And then we have this hedge around, and this hedge around is very smooth. And but we see it in the next foils. And then you see here the planting, and the planting is with perennials. And perennial plantings aren't very common now in Korea. And so I thought maybe we try something special. So this is the way I work. I'm searching for the right plants, and I think how many do we use, and then I use my pen and my colors, and then I have the possibility to get the design done by hand, and this is how I do it. So I wanted to have for you a glimpse of my work. And this is what it looked like, and every color and every circle means the different space a plant needs. And you see the bigger ones are in the middle, and the smaller ones are on the side. And there is a color side, and this means a third way of thinking in plants. Because the plants have all a duty to do in a garden, and to start the duties of the garden, I have to think about the room, and the room is always made by the biggest plant, and the biggest plant here is the tree. And so we have had the trees, and we saw. As the picture we have had before, we have had here is a very bad soil, very compacted, and so we had to loosen it. And this is what we started to think of. The next one is these hedges. Look at this hedge here. The hedge is planted out of different plants, and it looks like a puzzle. And this puzzle is to have many different species, but one shape. So you can use a lot of different species, what means you have a resilience. You can have more biodiversity, and but it is still a strong shape, and the design is good seeable. And this, therefore, I took this kind of design. Oops. Here, the perennials. The perennials are plants which come every year again, and they most of them are they're not trees or shrubs. They are perennials, so they stay soft in a way. And this is a planting I have done already in Switzerland in the project of FIFA. FIFA is very well known because it's the world soccer society. And then I thought about the plants. And here you see some of the plants I'm really a fan of. It's Hemerocallis. And where is Hemerocallis come from? From Korea. Isn't it great to have the possibility to have the Hemerocallis here in Korea as well? And so here I will now explain what we did, what we do in European or German garden designs. We often have the special duty of the plants, and here you see leading species which make a grid. But the grid is not very rectangular, but it makes it strengthen the plants to keep together. Then the companion species which are there to work to help the other plants, and the cover plants which are ground cover plants which are they have the duty to bring it to the ground and to let it, to frame it, to make it really nice the whole year. And we've got some scatter plants. It means that there's a basic meal, but these are kind of herbs and salt and pepper we put on it. And here you see the plants I preferred for it. And here is what is really nice in that we could use a lot of plants we use in our designs in Europe as well, like yucca, like here Miscanthus sinensis, and here this Aralia. And this Aralia has a special gimmick, but I will show you. Here you see the companion species, and even these companion species are, some of them are really well known in Korea because you eat them. This Platycodon has got roots, and the roots are eaten here. And so this is another very special effect of the garden. So we have a very diversity in the use of plants, but we've got a diversity in the meaning of the plants and even of the possibilities to do something with it. And here you see the ground cover plants, and you see a lot of hosta, and hosta is a plant native to Korea as well, even an eaten one. And this is really interesting, isn't it? And so then we decided to have a very special frame for the paths, because the path is just a path. It shouldn't be such a strong part of the design. The main design comes from the plants. Therefore, I'm showing it just now. And what is special is it is a wooden edge. The edge is out of wood. It is curved, and it is absolutely possible to curve wooden. So you don't get plastics or artificial materials in your garden. And this is about sustainability. And here you see it. Here it was built a bit different, but you see here the perennial planting, and you see here the way of the using the hedges. And here are some benches, and the benches they shouldn't be very loud. So I put the benches inside of the hedges, and so they are part of the hedges now. And even this is the invitation for the biodiversity, for the flying animals coming to us with wild bees. Unfortunately, very few came to this garden. Maybe this is a sign for the loss of biodiversity in the last few years. And then we have had birdhouses. And here you see the insects we found in the garden already. And I don't know the English expression, but I think this is kind of a bumblebee. And you see the bees or bumblebees are here in this native plant Platycodon and the other native plant Hemerocallis. And here's what there is a bird supervision in the park. And in this bird supervision, you can really see there are a lot of people living here in Seoul. They are really interested into birds, and so they check it every day. And when they checked it, they put it on this website. And so I could figure out, even in Switzerland, what kind of birds do you have here? Isn't it funny? I really love it. And so I saw there are not so many different species. There could be more. And you see, even these species became rare in Boromay Park because maybe the change of the climate. You've got a lot of music in the park. You've got a lot of light in the park. So the mankind is sometimes maybe a bit disturbing for these animals, especially in the middle of the park. And these are the animals we always forget. The soil, not only animals, it's fungus, it's even viruses, and everything is living in the soil. And this is what we designers often forget. But this is a part of our design as well, and so we shouldn't forget. And even when we think of third nature, I think we are forced to go into the future to think of the animals and the possibilities we've got here in Boromay Park and everywhere in our projects, to invite them or to make the possibilities for them to live here in the park. There was even a frog in this, but I forgot to put it in this presentation. A frog is found already because it is funny because there's no water very next to it. And here you see the lights which we have been possible to design for it, and maybe this is a lot of lights, but maybe this is a kind of the picture is not so appropriate. So we are here. We saw this. These are the ideas. The ideas of the plants, the ideas of the animals are invited. The idea of the materials for the paving, and this is how we go on. And so we started to build the site. And here the seoul1-1 was here part of the designing facilities, and you see here is the park, and we changed the design because there was a tree standing on the wrong side, but it doesn't matter because it's an organic design, and the organic design are allowed to be changed, not to lose the idea. And so here, okay, it's really good to see. So we decided not to make it too dense from our plan. Yeah, here there's the measurement. No, I said take a water pipe. And if you take a water pipe and fill it with water, then you can't make cracks or unpretty edges. And so we decided to make it like this. And then they made a wonderful photo, an aerial photo, to check the design if it is appropriate. And this is a very old method, but it is always forgotten. And so I wanted to show it how we did it here. And so you see, okay, is it really the right? Okay, we can check it. And so it was already built. And here's the kind of building. You see here is the possibility to curve the wooden edge. And then this is the material for beyond. And okay, I forgot one picture was, yeah, you see here. There are heavy machinery. There is heavy machinery, but this heavy machinery has its duty because we have to loosen the soil. The soil is loosened until 50 centimeters, 50 to 60 centimeters beyond the surface. And so there is the possibility to work, to deal with the water inside of the materials, so there is no flooding event. And we have had this summer these awful times which it rained really, really hard and strong, and after that it was really flooding events here, but not in this garden anymore. And so here we are. Let's get started of the party, but great, it was possible. It is not so easy to get the plants in Korea, because the system of the nurseries is completely different to the system I know, and so seoul1-1 has been made it possible to find all these plants. You see here the plants for the hedges, and you see here the perennials in huge qualities. The qualities we use in Germany and Switzerland are most like that, and then we wait on the side. But here planted it in these huge amounts. And then here was the plan made in the computer, but I think the plan from hand was easier to read, but this is a decision. Okay, then you see here the edges are already built, the path is already built, and here is the grid of lines, and this grid makes it possible to stand the plants in the right places, and even to react to the stems of the trees, because the stems of the trees have always the roots of the trees beyond, and you can't dig so deep in the round, and so you have to react. And this is what they did. seoul1-1 and Yang Yi have had a huge amount of volunteers and people working with them to get this all planted. And this was in early April, and you see how it worked, and so now you see a lot of pots, and it looks like, wow, it's a huge amount, but when you plant it, it's not a huge amount anymore, and you see there was often a discussion, and you see here the plant labels have been made extra for it. But I saw a lot of different labels, very nice as well, in the Seoul Garden Show. And you see here all the people visiting or helping into the garden, and even a party has to be taking place of here to build the garden. So everyone has had fun. So it was a great. Why do I show these pictures? I think every project I do, if it is done only from the authorities and not from the people from there, it is there is always the possibility that it will not sustain. And I think there's a lot about sustainability to have a party after finishing, and therefore I'm really, really happy with these people. But otherwise, I heard a rumor about the maintenance, but we have to go on. We enjoy the result. Here are some Baptisia australis from North America, and in the inside of the garden. What I think is really important, if you have a planting design and you have a maintenance problem in your garden, the rumor was that you have in the garden the same amount of people which are gardeners and which are doing the maintenance of the garden now. And this is really a pity, because you have to have, if you do a garden show like that, and many precious plants come into a place, then you have to deal with the people doing the maintenance in future. So maybe you have a bigger knowledge, you have more volunteers, this is also a problem, a possibility, or you have the ability to bring more gardeners into the field to have the gardens for longer than just for the garden show time. This is maybe this is just a rumor. So I'm looking. So this is work and education is taking place. What is really, really nice is look here in this vase, in this glass cylinder. You see the soil. Yeah. So you can the pupils can see the soil and see all the ideas of the garden, because Yang Yi is telling to her students, and this is what I think is really a very precious thing. And then you see the maintenance in every garden is very personal. This means the gardeners. This is a volunteer, a woman. These is very personal, so every part of the garden is maintained to fit to it all, and so all the people have to know the idea, to get into the idea of this garden, to have the possibility to make a good maintenance. And here you see the finished garden, and the finished garden is always just a snapshot. So go there in winter, go there in early spring, and we have had the possibility yesterday to plant some bulbs as well. See, here these are the Hemerocallis, but this is international Hemerocallis, because the species came from here, from Asia, went to America, and they produced this very special form called Stafford. And there are some other lilies, and you see this is an endemic plant. This is Ligularia as well. And you see here, this picture I took because I really like it. Did you see on this garden show an area which is wild as this one? If you really think about this, is the wildness we just use in our gardens is, I think, a good way to connect more with nature, and therefore I'm always trying to work a little bit wilder. Yeah, look here. This has been some weeks ago. Education and maintenance, this is what I already explained. Then here are the pictures. Additional features, here we are. This is crazy, isn't it? You eat so many of my plants. And this is what is really great, because you connected to nature more than other countries. You eat my flowers. Yeah, and this is really a special task, and therefore I'm really grateful to have this possibility to work here. Yeah, to eat Prunella grandiflora. Here's the idea. What? Yeah. Okay. And so here are the results of the soil loosening. You see, this is heavy rain, about 3 hours long, and you see, yes, there is water, but it is still walkable. And therefore, I think it is a good idea to loosen the soil to work with it. So this is one of the last pictures. Here, see the monster. I really like it. Yeah, and I think this is the place we are, aren't we? Yeah, I don't know. And this is what you already saw. And here are some questions. Are we missing something? Where are the spring bulbs now we planted? So there's a possibility to have, because if you open your garden shows in May, you lose all the spring flowers, even the cherry blossoms. Is there a possibility to enlarge the area? This is always the question of a landscape architect. And is there a future compost area next to it? Because if you want to have, if you have more bugs and beetles here, then it is this is really necessary to have a compost area. Is there any monitoring of the living elements here? Maybe you can do it with the universities. And is there a possibility to keep the volunteers in good spirits? This is always the questions I bring to all of my projects. And how is the information made public? And I see with this symposium and other kinds of working with it, there is a good idea to work with it. And this is just the last slide of mine. And thank you for listening.